What if there were a way that you could come in and get mental health treatment that is no longer the scary, overwhelming, sometimes degrading experience that you've had in the past? Well, that's exactly what we have done at University Elite, is we are giving the patients the tools to make it something that is a positive experience. Even when it's hard, our patients will tell you it's been a positive experience and they're glad they did it. And to help you understand how we give you the tools to take good therapy and make it great, let me explain using a metaphor. When I was in the military, I actually worked with the Special Forces, and because of that, I actually rubbed shoulders with some of the psychologists that were working with the Special Forces in their training, in that selection process. And one of the things they told me was, eventually you get to a point where you no longer are going to have any of the candidates for the Special Forces quit because of physical pain that they're feeling. You can make them do more push-ups or more sit-ups or any of that stuff, and they're never going to quit again. And so they know they've weeded out those who can't take the physical discipline or the physical pain that is necessary to be in the Special Forces. But before they get that Green Beret, they also have to prove that they have the mental ability to overwhelm it. And so they actually introduce one of the most stressful and overwhelming things to these Special Forces candidates. And you're going to see, this is actually something we accidentally do with many of our patients, is we take something that's already difficult and we make it even more difficult when they're getting treatment, simply because we don't do this one step. Now, here's how the Special Forces test that. They'll actually take these Special Forces people out, and up until this point in selection, they've told them, this is how far you have to go and this is how long you have to get there. And they make it very difficult. Well, in order to test their mental abilities, what they then do is they take it and they'll say, you're driving in this truck. They'll turn the truck off and they'll just say to the candidates, you need to get this truck down the road. Do not try to start it. It no longer works. And what they've done is they've introduced something that is not clearly defined. They've introduced an unknown, and that is one of the scariest things you can do in life, is introduce an unknown. And so they don't know how far they have to go. They don't know how long they have to get there. And a lot of times what they said is some of the most strong, physically able-bodied candidates that they have will sit down on the side of the road, start crying, and quit right there. They know that mentally they could not handle it. And so that is the second thing they do. Well, in mental health, we oftentimes do the same thing, to where we don't help the patients to understand why they are doing something and what is going to come next, what it would take to get better. This is where University Elite helps. We start in multiple ways in helping people see that, so that the unknown is evaporated. The first way that we do that is through a group of seminars. Now with this, what we do is we have a seminar where you'll go on and say it's the one where you're struggling with anxiety or PTSD. In that case, you get the seminar and you'll go, and the first step is it's broken down to where you get to see what each of the lessons are. Each of the lessons is introduced with a video where I teach you a principle. Then you have a workbook where you answer some questions to make sure you learn the important parts. And then third, this is where you take that workbook and the information you just learned into that session with your therapist, and they then help you apply that in your life, whether it's to things that are conscious to you or sometimes even unconscious things that you didn't realize were happening. Then, if the patient gets stuck trying to apply it, guess who's there to help them? They have a therapist there to help them. And we think this is so important that we actually looked at it, and the patients who come and get this direct training that I give in the seminar with me personally, they actually will spend between $4,000 and $5,000 when they add up all their sessions in getting this same training. You are going to be able to get this seminar for less than an hour of time with me. We're trying to make it as affordable as possible to everybody because it makes such a difference. And it actually is a money saver in the end, because many of our patients tell us it was twice as fast to overcome their PTSD or their anxiety because of the progress they could make with these seminars adding to it. And so it gets even better. If you select a therapist who is BRT certified, there are discounts for each level of certification, and you can see more about that. Now, I understand some people aren't going to want to jump in and do a session right out the bat. They're going to want to do kind of that dip your toe in the water before jumping in. We have books for that. In the books, you're going to get a lot of the same material, not nearly as comprehensive, but the necessary basic information to decide whether or not it's going to be worth it to you. And then Lastly, we have some people that say, I don't need formal therapy. I don't have a lot, but I would like to have fun and get a little better with being able to live the good life. Well, we've got some podcasts for that. We have the Mental Health and the Good Life podcast, where we take some of the fun things in life and break down the psychology behind it so that you can see in a fun way what's possible for you to live an even better life. And then the second one that's purely for fun is we look at, it's called Psyched in the Movies. And Psyched in the Movies is where we look at fun movies and we go ahead and describe the psychology behind it that makes us love those movies. And then lastly, for those people that love to surf YouTube and TikToks, we have some of those videos too. So there are many different ways that we're doing this, but you get to decide what the best way is for you, and University Elite is here to help you with all of that.